Hello and welcome to today's video. Doing something different today. I had the whole weekend off, so I was planning to be productive and film things, and then that just didn't happen. But I didn't want to not post a video tomorrow just because that would make me feel worse. So I figured, nice casual little chat. I'm here, we can talk about what I'm currently reading and what I'm currently doing and anything that's on my mind. I don't know. Yeah, it just wound up being kind of like a stressful weekend, and I just spent a lot of time watching old Julian Solomita cooking videos. His whole Aries kitchen thing that he did for several years, which just made me happy. And I started going to the gym again, which was good. And yeah, I watched Booktube. Didn't do a whole lot of booktubing myself, but that's fine. To talk about what I'm currently reading, I do have 5 things on the go, which I would say 5 things I'm in the middle of, but what it really comes down to is 2 things I'm almost done with, 2 things I just started, and then 1 thing that I'm in the middle of. So let's go with the 2 things I've just started, since they'll be quick to talk about since I have little to say. The first is How the Word is Passed by Clint Smith. A reckoning with the history of slavery across America. This is a nonfiction book that I'm listening to via audiobook about the history of slavery and kind of how it's discussed, how it's handled in today's time. At the point I'm at in the book, which is 15 minutes in, he's at Monticello taking a tour about Jefferson's relationship with slavery, and kind of just discussing what that means in the greater discussion. Very interesting. I think this recommendation came from Keep Calm with Books and Coffee. Keep calm with Books and Coffee. I'm not 100% certain on that, but I think maybe I'll link her down below regardless, just in case she recommended it. And if you have any nonfiction book recommendations, please give them to me, because I listen to audiobooks on my very lengthy commute to work, so I get through them fairly quickly. If I do that, and I also listen to them when I take walks, which is occasionally depending on my mood, or when I'm walking on the treadmill if I want something that's a little more low-key than running. They're very useful. So please recommend me things. But this is kind of a longer audiobook. It should keep me focused for a little while, because I've listened to some that are 5 hours long, and those do not last me a whole week even. So it'd be nice to have something I can be in the middle of for a minute. Don't have many thoughts on this yet, but I'm very interested to see where it's going, what kind of information he's going to offer, just in general. And then what was I going to say? Oh, the 2 things I'm in the middle of, since they're quick. A physical book. The first book off of my September TBR. I've not been good with TBR this month. It's the 11th today. I'm posting this tomorrow on the 12th. I have barely touched my TBR. Today, I started reading this book. First book I've touched from it. Everything else is just sitting there. So I do think for October, probably not gonna do a TBR. I'm probably just gonna let it hang and maybe catch up on some old TBR books and read what I feel from my shelves. We'll see. But I am reading Go for the Goal, A Champion's Guide to Winning in Soccer and Life by Mia Hamm. I'm on chapter 2. This is basically what I expected it to be. It's very bland, it's very basic. I like the actual information she gives about her life, and she talks a little bit about soccer information, informative things, but a lot of it is vague, motivational, success breeds success, and I pit myself against the stronger, better players in order to become better, and it's like not bad by any means, just like very, very bland. So it should be a quick read though. It's not very long, and like when you look at it, the font is massive, and there's like lots of pictures. Like random pages are just like half pictures, which I like the pictures, and I like hearing about her and her teammates, and I like the soccer information because I like soccer. So I assume I'll probably be giving this 3 stars, but it'll stay on my shelf. So those are the 2 things I just started. Like, you know, I'm barely into this. And the 2 things, and then the thing I'm in the middle of. Let's go with that next. The ebook that I'm currently reading. I took a break from thrillers because I've been reading so many of them, but actually my hold just came in for an ebook for Jane Harper. I forget which one, but I read one of her books earlier this month and loved it. It's like a very slow, very drawn out thriller. Amazing. So I just put all of her books on hold, and one of them came in, so I'm super stoked to get to that, but I have to finish this one first. It's Out of Darkness by Ashley Hope Perez. Yes, that's her name. This is historical fiction, young adult, set in 1937 in Texas. It's about the New London school explosion. Basically, it's an oil town. They use natural gas to like power everything, and there was a massive explosion in the school when like all the students were there, and like 300 people died, and the main character is a Mexican girl who falls in love with a black boy, and she has an abusive white stepfather, so there's like a lot of discussion on racism and abuse and like all that kind of thing. It's really good. I'm like halfway through with this, probably like exactly at the halfway point, and I'm really, really enjoying it. It flows really well. It does switch point of views between characters a lot, which is not usually my favorite thing, but it's a really good story. It's really well written. I want to say this got hype for a little while. I remember a couple of people talking about it, I think, but it's just like, so far it's really wonderful, and I'm really curious to see where it goes post explosion, because I really hope it covers like time after the explosion, but I'm not sure how much time it will be able to, because I'm like halfway through and we're not quite close to it yet, but it's really, really good. So that leaves the 2 things that I'm almost done with and haven't finished, despite the fact that I've been reading both of them for ages. These 2 that I just, if you watch my vlogs, you'll probably get used to seeing these. This, I technically started both of them last month, but this I almost finished last month. It was on my TBR for August. Life's Dominion, An Argument About Abortion, Euthanasia, and Individual Freedom by Ronald Dworkin. It's a book about abortion. It's just a legal argument, basically in favor of abortion. And his main point of the book is that the majority of people don't actually see a fetus as a person. They see it as a potential for human life. Or, I'm trying to think of how to phrase this the way he phrased it. I haven't touched this book in a minute. It's basically that there's a difference between viewing the fetus as an actual person versus viewing human life as kind of intrinsically valuable or sacred. So that's basically the main tenet of this book, which is interesting, and he hits on like a lot of interesting points and interesting arguments, and there's like some very valuable information in here that I enjoyed reading about, like bits of this very, very fascinating, but it gets so repetitive. Like this would have been so much better as like a 40-page essay, you know, cut out all the repetitive bits, cut out all the weird tangents. He gets very ableist at points in this that's really unpleasant. This book is also like from the very early 90s, so you have to keep that in mind. It's not the most up-to-date of books, but there are things in this that are very worthwhile, but there's also a lot that's not so much. I also expected more of this book to be about euthanasia, because it's in the title. It's abortion, euthanasia, and individual freedom. So I kind of thought it'd be like 50-50, and it's really like 6 chapters on abortion, 2 at the very end, 2 short ones at the very end on euthanasia. So that was a little bit disappointing, but I don't know. Despite not being that enjoyable, there were a few things I liked about this. I mean, there are. I have like 15 pages left. I don't have it in me to pick it up. And then the last thing is the Mage-Lord's Legacy, which is book 2 in the Constellation Saga. This I am enjoying. There was just like a gnarly bit in here about animal abuse that kind of was like making me anxious, because that is like the one thing that I can't read about. Like, I can read all other manner of like terrible, horrible things, and animal abuse is like the one thing that I just really can't. So I've not been able to pick this up in a few days, but I am really enjoying this. This is gonna be 4 stars for me. I have like just the tiniest bit at the end to go. I figure sometime this week I'll finish it off and get started on book 3. But yeah, it was just like the animal abuse. I was like, I need a break, which isn't the book's fault, you know. Beyond that, the many things that I'm currently trying to read, I don't know. I'm pretending that I'll still get to a good bit of my TBR. I won't. I'm pulling up my notes. I had notes of like things I wanted to mention for this video. Oh, I pretty much mentioned everything. Chatty things. I'm gonna move the camera. So I have moved most of my books from my childhood home here, which you can see pretty shelves. Nice little sloth friend. He's my buddy. I didn't feel like moving him for the video. I usually would. But you could see my shelves are very full, especially this shelf, which is double stacked with books. Can you see that? I don't even know if you can see that. What would be a better angle? Here, pull out these. It's, nope, still no, whatever. It's double stacked books. That's why these are hanging over the edge and these down here like aren't, or up here. Which I don't like doing on the middle shelves because it makes them like bow in the middle. So I might do that on like the 3 bottom shelves over here. It just means I have to put like trade or mass market paperbacks here to do it, which is not ideal. But you can see the other side of my room, pardon the mess. There's just books all over the floor, and those boxes are all full of books. So haven't determined what I'm gonna do yet. I am getting two of these shelves for my birthday, so that'll be like basically 4 because I stack books on top too. Let me see if I can show you. There we go. The top is stacked. They're not very high because I have cats and I live in a rented apartment, so I can't like be drilling bookshelves into the walls, but that'll give me 2 more shelves, which I should be getting in a couple weeks. Fingers crossed. So that'll help, but I haven't figured out what I'm gonna do with the rest of them because like all those stacks on the floor are not gonna fit on those 2 shelves. So I'm gonna need to buy more shelves eventually. I just don't know when or how or what they're going to be. I do like these white ones, these IKEA Billy bookcase, whatever they are. They're very lovely. They're not like the nicest of shelves, but they are just like, they're basic, they're functional, they're somewhat durable. So I probably need like 5 of them if I'm being perfectly honest. But yeah, I think that was pretty much all I had for this video. Just, I don't know, killing time, filming this instead of a vlog update. It's just something to post. I figure Thursday I will post a video as well. It's probably going to be something not similar to this, but similar in energy. I might take my phone and go filming around my new library maybe I might film a tag, something that's just like easy and simple. Let me know if you have thoughts. I don't know. I'm just kind of having one of those weeks. One of those weeks. So, Spleen, would you like to come here? Spleen. Spleen, come. She's obedient. Spleen, do you want to help me close up the video? Come here. Say hi. Say hi to the camera. Oh, yes. No. No. Okay, well, thank you for coming anyway. So that was it for today. Leave me recommendations for nonfiction down below. I appreciate it because I get through a lot of nonfiction audiobooks because I can't really listen to fiction audiobooks. My brain can't follow like plots and stories and character arcs and all of that. Like nonfiction I can do okay, fiction not so much. So leave me recommendations down below. As always, I guess, thank you for watching, and I will see y'all again soon.